Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hello. Nice to meet you. My name is Carrie Rad, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Today we are going to be propagating a bunch of my indoor plants, and we're going to be talking about propagating in general. Essentially, I just wanted to create this video because I really wanted to propagate a bunch of my plants, and I really just wanted to talk to you guys about plants again. So here we are. Before we get into the propagation process, please take a moment to make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. You'll click on the subscribe button, and also right next to the subscribe button is a little bell button. That's for notifications. If you click always on notifications, then you will never miss a new video from me. I have all of my favorite indoor plants around me once again, and these are really popular indoor plants, and most of these I mentioned in my how to care for indoor plants video that I recently posted. So if you guys are interested in these plants and what they are and how to care for them, you can definitely check out that video to get more information on them. But most of you guys, because these are so popular, probably have one or two of them in your collection already. And if you're interested in creating more plants out of the plants that you currently own, then this video is for you. These days, it's a little bit more difficult to get into a nursery to buy new plants because we're all trying to stay home as much as we possibly can. So this is a great way to create more plants out of the plants that you currently have. It's a great way to save money, and it's also such a fun activity to do at home. It's like a science project. Alex and I get such a kick out of propagating our vegetable plants that we have on our windowsill in the kitchen because you can see the plants come back to life from their stem and their roots. So today we're just talking about indoor plants, but it is such a great activity to do at home with your kids or with your partner or even solo like I am doing today, although I'm not totally solo because I have all of you guys here sharing this moment with me. So let's get into plant propagation. The first step that I recommend is to disinfect your shears or your cutters. If you are cutting off a stem, you are essentially leaving your plant vulnerable to any bacteria because you're essentially opening up a wound for your plant. So maybe I used these shears out in the vegetable garden and there was some sort of fungus, mildew, or bacteria that I'm then bringing in to my indoor plants when I'm cutting off a stem. So taking your cutters and disinfecting them, I'm using hydrogen peroxide. You can also use a rubbing alcohol. This is something that not a lot of people talk about when talking about propagating, but I think it's really important because you don't want to hurt your already healthy plants that you have living in your house by trying to create new plants. You just want to keep everybody healthy and happy. So that's why disinfecting your shears and your cutters is an important step. My next recommendation is to decide what you want to propagate your plants in. I love using reusable glass jars. These used to have pasta sauce in it or olive or just all sorts of different things that we got at the grocery store. I love reusing glass jars just for all sorts of things in our house. I use it for just simple water. I use it for my matcha lattes in the morning with ice. I use them to pickle vegetables, and I also use them to propagate plants. I think they're beautiful. I add twine at the end, and I'll show you guys how I do that to make it look even more beautiful, because propagating your plants doesn't have to just look like a science project. It actually looks really beautiful to have a fresh cutting in a glass sitting on your windowsill. It's just a way to add more plants into your house, but it's also doing work, and it's actually creating roots for new plants, which is very fun. The other day, I soaked these glass jars for a couple of hours in warm water with olive oil, dish soap, and I used a little bit of baking soda towards the end on these stubborn jars. You'll notice when you're soaking jars that some of them are a breeze and super easy to take the sticker off, but some of them can be really frustrating, and the sticker and the label have super intense, like tapey stickiness that you're just really frustrated by, and the baking soda will help, and just soaking it for as long as you possibly need to get all of the labeling off creates a beautiful clean jar, and then you can run it through your dishwasher if you want, or you can just clean it with a little bit of dish soap, and it's a perfectly clean, new, gorgeous jar that you can use for all sorts of different things. Let's first talk about propagating a pothos plant. This is a great plant to propagate because it grows these long vine stems, and so it just makes it super easy to cut from because it's so long and beautiful, and when it's overgrown, it's actually really great for the plant to cut some and to propagate because the plant that you're cutting from, it will actually encourage growth. This is a pothos plant that I started propagating about 4 days ago, so you can't really see the roots coming out yet, but what you can see are these little nubs. this is where the roots will grow from. What's really important is that you pay attention to these little knobs here to make sure that you have some on your cutting and that you're cutting underneath some of these like elbow-like knobs on the plant. I like to have a little bit of space here for the plant to go into its soil. So that's something you want to think about. So I know that when I replant this after the roots start growing, that I'll probably put it into the soil till about here, so that this stem here has nice space to just kind of dig into the soil and like bound its roots. And so this will be a beautiful plant because not only will it grow along this way and create a vine that way, it'll also grow this way and that way, and it also has another stem here. So for this pothos plant, I'm going to cut below this knob here, and I'm actually going to cut off this bottom stem here, just because that will go underwater and it will also go underneath the soil when I go to replant it. So as you can see, I have a new little cutting here. So now we've got a couple pothos plants propagating here in the water, and I like to make sure that these little brown knobs on the stems are all under the water. And there you go. Perfectly beautiful little plant that you can actually just put on your windowsill, and it looks quite gorgeous. The next plant I want to talk about propagating is the Zizi plant. And this plant can be kind of complicated because everything I read says that Zizi plants don't have stems. And I know you're probably thinking, but Carrie, what is that? I completely agree, it's very complicated. If you have more information as to what they mean by Zizi plants don't have stems, I think it's because the leaves grow from the very bottom and this is just sort of like a middle part that holds it all together, which definitely sounds like a stem, so I'm confused by it too. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of water in this jar. It doesn't have to be totally full, you just need a little bit, enough to totally submerge the bottom of the plant. This is my first time propagating Zizi plant. So I've actually never seen how long it takes for the roots to come out, but from what I've read, it can take quite a while for a Zizi plant. But also what I've noticed about propagating in general is that different plants, even if it's the same plant, it doesn't take the same amount of time every time. Each plant is kind of different in terms of how long it takes for the roots to grow. So I could tell you, oh, it's gonna happen in 2 weeks, but maybe it won't happen for 3 months. I've really noticed that every plant is quite different. So don't get discouraged if your plant is not showing roots within the first month, because it will happen. It just might be taking a little bit longer for that specific plant. So this guy is in its jar. I'm going to add twine. I like to grab a good amount of twine because I fold it over a couple times. And also something to remember, you can always reuse twine. I like to do a little bow. And that is it for the Zizi plant, a very easy plant to propagate. I'm going to have a snack of blueberries because we're just hanging out here talking about plants and snacking. Let's be real, I also have a cocktail to the side of the camera as well, which is very nice. I'm having a cocktail, eating blueberries, and talking about plants with you guys. I'm not mad about it at all. I have this because I just finished cutting Alex's hair, and how he repaid me was making me a cocktail. That's what I told him. I was like, that's how you're gonna pay me, is through a cocktail, because it was so hot outside and I was like sweating because I was so nervous about cutting his hair. I've never cut hair before, so we did it on a live stream, which was even more pressure, and so I needed a cocktail afterwards, and this is quite nice. The next plant we are going to propagate is the Monstera plant, which is my favorite indoor plant, and it's also my favorite plant to propagate. It's really easy to propagate. You just want to make sure that you cut it in the right area, which I'll show you where now. But every time I propagate Monstera, the roots show quite quickly, which is really fun. Sometimes it sucks to have to wait a really long time for the roots to grow. Monstera grow, for me, the last couple of times I've done it, it grew within a couple of weeks, and I replanted it in soil within a month. So very exciting about that, and I'm going to cut off a piece of our baby right now. This is an absolutely beautiful cutting of a Monstera plant. It has everything we need, like these nodules, and we will have some beautiful roots growing from this plant. We will likely have a plant coming out this way, and we can replant it Here, this is a gorgeous, healthy leaf, which is really great for propagating. It's going to create a brand new, beautiful plant. I'm going to use a large glass of water here because it's a larger plant. And that should be good right there. I'm gonna stick this guy in. Oop. He kind of needs to be like squished in there. I'm gonna add more water. I'm going to actually add water to like above here because I do want to submerge this entire area of the plant. So I'll be right back. This looks really beautiful. So this is kind of what I mean about propagating. It's like you're creating more plants and it is a little science project, but it also can look so beautiful as just a decor piece. So adding twine to this now, I'm gonna do a bit of a larger piece of twine because this is a larger glass and I just wanna make this one extra special. With a bigger plant, it's nice to have a little bit of a bigger bow just to balance it out nicely. But I think that this looks absolutely beautiful. Another very easy plant to propagate is a snake plant. I know a lot of you guys have snake plants and a lot of you guys have told me that you killed your snake plants, which makes me very sad because snake plants are not that hard to take care of. But I also understand because I've killed many plants myself too. I'm not perfect in the plant department. But if you notice that your snake plant might be dying, then try propagating it because maybe it has something to do with the soil. I'm not sure, but propagating plants brings new life to new plants. So if you want to try to see if you can like double team your snake plant, like take care of the one that's already in the soil and then cut off a piece and then put it in water to propagate it to create new life, you can do that too. So this is the snake plant. It will grow roots from the bottom here. I've never propagated a snake plant before. This is my first time. So again, I'll keep you guys posted on how the process goes over on my Instagram. I plan on propagating my birds of paradise at some point, but that plant needs to be taken out of the pot and actually propagated from the roots. So you'd like cut the plant out of the root, and I don't want to do that yet because it's a very new plant and I love the way that it's growing right now. But if you have a birds of paradise plant and it's quite big and you'd love to create another plant, then you'll cut it from its actual soil. Like you can cut the roots in half and create a new plant that way with the soil attached. So those are all of the plants that I planned on propagating with you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed sitting down and just doing this fun activity with me today. I know that I really enjoyed it. I have a couple of videos coming up that I'm so excited to share with you guys. I have a video about how to reduce waste in the kitchen, and in that video I'm going to talk about composting, which I know is something that you guys have been asking me to share with you guys. So I'm really excited about that video. I'm also going to share other tips to reduce waste in the kitchen because it's something I've been really focused on recently, and I've really learned that it's not as difficult as people think. There's just a couple things here and there that you can change that can really make a huge difference. So I can't wait to share that one with you guys. I'm also wondering if you guys would be interested in seeing a video about how to grow vegetables in your home. We have a bunch of vegetables on our windowsill right now that are regrowing from store-bought vegetables, and I'd love to share that with you guys. So let me know in the comments if you want to see a video like that. And also just let me know any recommendations or requests that you guys have for me for video content because I love getting feedback from you guys. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It just helps to push the video to more eyeballs so more people can see it. I will have a brand new video for you guys next Friday. In the meantime, I will chat with you over on my Instagram. Bye.